Hello and welcome back to Disneyland. I'm Professor Toybox and this of course is Minnie Mouse. We've been away from this series for a while, but it's good to be back. And over the next couple of weeks we're going to finish up my Main Street USA toy box. Today I'm going to show you how to build the Hidden Mickeys game. And who better to search for Mickey than Minnie? So if you're a big Disneyland fan, or you watched the first episode in my Disneyland series, then you know that there are camouflaged images of Mickey Mouse hidden throughout the real Disneyland, so I wanted to capture that experience in my toy box. So in this game, I'm going to randomly hide 5 Mickey Mouse townspeople throughout the toy box, and if the player finds all 5 and throws them into this sidekick door over here, then they'll receive a random pack or tool that they can take with them as they explore Disneyland. That's the game I'm building today, so let's get started. And to save time, I've already placed the creativitoys that I'm going to need, and there aren't many because this is a very simple game. So we have the sidekick door that we're going to throw the townspeople into. This is from Stitch's Tropical Rescue. And I've got a locator here where the prize will show up after they've rescued or found all 5 Mickeys. Behind the building over here, I have a button that I'm going to use, and I'll explain why I've got that in a minute. I've got the object generator, which will give us our prize. I have a counter, an action enforcer, and up on top of the roof here I have a friendly wave generator, and I've got a sound generator. And I've already connected the friendly wave generator to a lot of different locators, and I'll show you where those are in a minute. But basically, you're going to come in here to the logic menu and do a new locator connection, and then connect up to each of your locators. And here's one of them. And I've got them placed around the toy box, and the more the better. This game works a lot better the more locators you have. So I have one there, and I've got one at the other end of the tracks, and one kind of hovering over top of that balcony there. I've got a couple of them hiding in here inside the park area, in the little middle of this courtyard. I've got one hiding around the corner over here, behind these closed doors. Of course, you can put these anywhere you want in your toy box, but this is where I placed mine. I put one over here in the back corner of the Tiki Room area, and this one you have to be kind of careful, because if you try to place it over here or too close to these interior decorations, Mickey won't actually stay put. He'll walk out of hiding and stand out here and move around between these different interior decorations. So you want to make sure you place it far enough away where Mickey doesn't do that. So I've got one back in that corner. And I've got one underneath this tree tucked away back there. There's one over here inside this little area. And I've got a few over here in the entrance to Tomorrowland. There's that one. There's one up here on the back side of the ride. And I've got another one over here. And you want to be careful not to place these beyond the entrances to the land, because we're going to use some trigger areas to kick off the entrance and send the player into each of the lands. So you don't want to put anything beyond this side of the monorail. You don't want to put anything beyond the palisade over here, or behind this archway for the entrance to Adventureland. I've got a few up on the castle. I've got one inside that little area, one over here inside that little area, and a couple of them up here, one next to the tower, one in this front corner, and one hiding behind here. So that's where I placed all of my locators. Oh yeah, I gotta upgrade Minnie. So again, the more you can place, the better, because it's less predictable, and that's a good thing. Alright, so on the friendly wave generator, to save a little bit of time, I've also configured the wave, and I've added 5 Mickey Mouse costumes. And this comes from the Mickey Mouse figure. So if you don't have that figure, but you do have the Mickey Mouse Sorcerer's Apprentice Mickey, you could use that. Or you could use Donald or Goofy. Doesn't really matter which townsperson you use, but I like Mickey because this is the Hidden Mickey's game. Alright, so that's everything I've done so far. So now, since we're here on the friendly wave generator, we'll come under the properties, and I want to turn on the flag to generate at a random locator. I'll leave that off. Generation delay I'm going to take to 0. I'm going to hide the generation effects because I don't really need that. This will leave off, that will leave set to none, and under the generated friend options, I'm going to set the behavior so that Mickey will stand still, because I don't want them moving around and calling attention to themselves. Okay, so that's the friendly wave generator, and there's only one logic connection we need for that. I'm going to come over to my level starter. And on the level starter, we'll do a new logic connection on catalyze. We'll come over to the friendly wave generator. And we'll generate the wave. And that will put all of the hidden Mickeys out there at some random locators. And again, the more locators you have, the better. Okay, so that's it for the friendly wave generator. The other part of this is registering when the player finds them, and they do that by throwing them into this townsperson door. So we'll come into the logic menu for this, go into the properties, and for this I do want to remove the townsperson on entry to save some memory. We will not disable the door after use. Detection level is 0. I don't need sidekicks. Normal response chance, we'll take that up to 10, and we'll leave the explosive chance set at 0. Okay, and what we're going to do on this is a new logic connection. When a townsperson is thrown in, we're going to come over here to our counter, and we are going to increment the counter by 1. So the counter is going to keep track of the townspeople we found, and it'll let us know when we found all 5. So coming into the properties then for the counter, I'm going to set the target count to be 5, because that's how many Mickeys I've got. Visible display will leave on. That will leave at 0. That will leave off. And so on the counter then, we'll do a new logic connection. When the target is reached, there's 3 things I want to do here. First, we'll come over to the action enforcer, and we'll have all the players celebrate. Secondly, we will do a new logic connection when the target is reached. Come up to our sound generator, and we'll play the musical fanfare, which again is my favorite to play to let the player know they've succeeded. And on the sound generator under the properties, we'll turn off 3D sound at speaker or locator so they can hear this wherever they are in the toy box. And the last thing the counter needs to do is give us our prize. So on the counter, we'll do a new logic connection. When the target is reached, we'll come over to the object generator, and under the packs, I'm going to select random. And for the object generator, I'm going to connect that up to the locator that's out here next to the door. So that's where the player will get their prize. And this is a good place to do it because the player will be right here. And on the properties for the object generator, we're going to leave that set the way it is. And there we go. That's pretty much the game. Now, one last thing I want to do, because when we play this, we come into the toy box and we load it up, it'll generate those Mickeys and place them throughout the toy box. And if we save the toy box, any point after that, those Mickeys will get saved too. And so that's why I have this button here. And so I'm going to connect this button up with a new logic connection. When pressed, I want to remove the Mickeys. So we're going to defeat the wave. And that way I can remove those Mickeys before I save my toy box. And that's pretty much everything. So we can kind of test this out a little bit. I'm not going to run through the entire game. But we can come over here to our button that's connected up to the level starter. And when we press that, that should generate the Mickeys around the toy box. So let's go see where it put them. All right, there's not one up there. Looks like there's one back here at that locator, so there's a Mickey. And that's the only one I see at the castle. Not one there. Looks like there's one at this locator over here. In that little corner. Try to get to a point where I can see him. There he is. So that's good. There's actually two of them there. It's another reason why you want more locators, because then you run less risk of having having the Mickeys, two Mickeys showing up at the same locator. But there's two over there. That does happen sometimes. There's none here in this little area. There's not one back over here. Not one there. Not one there. There's one over here. There's two over there. So in this case, we had two Mickeys at that locator, two of them at the locator over here, and one up on the castle. So it's not infallible, but at any rate, that's what can happen sometimes when you use the random feature in these toys. Your other option is you can use 5 different friendly wave generators and have one Mickey per generator, and connect each of the generators up to different sets of locators. And then that way you don't run into that problem, but starting to get a little bit low on memory here in my toy box, so I don't want to take the time to do that. So that's my hidden Mickey game. It's a simple game, but it's fun, and it's different each time you load up the toy box. Next time, I'll show you how to implement a simple collection quest where we hunt for ice cream cones to earn a prize. In the meantime, I hope you've enjoyed my video today. If so, please give it a like and leave a comment to let me know. If you want to build this game in your own toy box, be sure to visit my blog where I've got logic diagrams that will help you out. You can also subscribe to my channel by clicking my photo in the lower right corner. That's all for me today. See you next time.